Let's step inside the mind of John Wayne Gacy. Not the headlines, not the horror, the mind. Because evil isn't born in darkness. It's built there, brick by brick, out of pain, shame, and that desperate need to matter. Gacy wasn't some faceless monster from a movie. He was the neighbor who smiled, waved from his driveway, the guy who dressed up as a clown for kids' hospitals. The scary part? He looked so damn normal. That's the real secret of modern evil. It doesn't always hide in shadows. Sometimes it's right in front of you. His story started with humiliation. 1940 Chicago. Working-class family, small house, heavy silence. His dad, a World War II vet drowning in booze and bitterness, used violence like it was punctuation. Weak. Sissy. Not a man. To a kid, those words cut into your brain like commandments. Every insult became a rule. Never be weak again. Never show your pain. That's how the mask starts forming. Psychologists call it toxic shame. That voice inside whispering, "If they knew who I really am, they'd never love me." So Gacy learned to perform. Smile when you're scared. Charm when you're lonely. Especially charm. His humor became armor. His confidence, camouflage. And like a lot of narcissistic types, he figured out admiration was like oxygen. The more people liked him, the more powerful he felt. But deep down, he was still that boy in the basement, hiding from his father's voice. His whole adult life became this big theater show, just to drown out that echo. By his 20s, he seemed unstoppable. Business booming, political connections, community work, even his clown persona, Pogo. To most folks, he was the picture of a solid, small-town American guy. Hard-working, generous, always smiling for the camera. But that image? It wasn't really him. It was who he had to be to survive himself. That gap between the act and reality. That's where sociopathy grows. It's not just cruelty. It's emotional amnesia. When you bury your empathy to dodge pain, you stop seeing other people as real. Deep down, Gacy's mind was a war zone. Craving approval, but hating anyone who had what he never got. Freedom from fear. Self-respect. Love. Every future victim fit that symbol perfectly. Young, confident, unbroken. They were everything his father said he'd never be. That's the paradox of evil born from shame. It hates in others what it can't fix in itself. Clinically speaking, Gacy was a mix of narcissistic and antisocial traits. The narcissism craved admiration. The antisocial side craved dominance. Toxic combo. One feeds the ego, the other kills empathy. That mix creates someone who only measures their worth by control. He didn't do violence for fun. He did it to feel power over fear instead of being ruled by it. Every lie, every manipulation. It wasn't pleasure. It was relief. What's terrifying is how well society protected his illusion. Joined the JCs, did charity, had city hall connections. Local cops ignored multiple complaints because he seemed solid. That's the thing with psychopathy. It doesn't wear a bad guy mask. It studies you, mirrors you, earns your trust. Psychologists call it the mask of sanity. A sociopath's ability to fake emotions so well that empathy becomes their disguise. When that mask started cracking in the late 70s, he fell apart fast. Fights, arrogance, heavy drinking, classic collapse symptoms. For pathologically narcissistic minds, exposure feels worse than death. Their whole identity depends on keeping up the control illusion. That same arrogance that shielded him from suspicion led him straight into the light. He thought he was untouchable, smarter than everyone. Narcissistic blind spot. That belief, not the crimes themselves, finally betrayed him. When the truth came out, his community couldn't wrap their heads around it. Not Gacy. He was in our pictures, at our parades. That disbelief, that refusal to see darkness behind a friendly face, that's exactly how guys like him thrive. The real horror isn't just what he did. It's that nobody wanted to imagine he could. That psychological and social blindness kept his secret alive way longer than it should have. So what does Gacy teach us decades later? Monsters don't drop from the sky. They're made. In homes that silence emotions, systems that ignore mental illness, communities that pick politeness over curiosity. Tough childhoods happen to millions, but not everyone turns into a monster. When the pain gets unbearable, people face a choice. End yourself or end someone else to feel better. Gacy picked the second. And don't say good people always choose right. The choice is still yours. John Wayne Gacy wasn't a demon. He was a man built from pain, praise, denial, and fear. His story forces us to ask tougher questions. Not about him, but about us. How many people around us are faking happiness right now, hiding something broken underneath? How often do we confuse charm for health, confidence for character? Evil, at the end of the day, is pain left untreated, a choice made, and a mask never taken off. Sometimes it doesn't hide in the dark. Sometimes it smiles right back at you.